take as our text, through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions, what? Fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The reason why the faithfulness of God is important is because if you're going to have faith, and we're in the middle of our series on faith, then it's important for you to understand who you have faith in. Hello. Come on, somebody, you got to help me out. Because remember, we talked about what is faith, belief, and trust. Last week we talked about the battle that goes on between your head and your heart. That sometimes you can hear something, but that it's your head that tries to figure out and even sometimes get us to move on things that God has said to us. Always understand this. Between God saying and God fulfilling is always the process. And as you walk through the process, you must understand that in the process, you are being formulated, you're being formed and shapen for his glory. Hello? That's why sometimes the things you go through don't feel good to your flesh, but on the inside you have great peace. Because it's not about making your flesh feel good as much as it is formulating and molding your spirit man to be like Christ. Hello? Remember we said last week that faith is the belief in God and his promises. And that trust is to believe in spite of what goes on around you. And see, the problem is, just like it got real quiet in here, I know y'all say, well, we listening. But you're listening and you're trying to calculate, because despite of what's going on, God has made you a promise if he's spoken to you. And if he's spoken to you, then he gave you something to hold on to, that despite of what you see going on around you, you have to learn to trust in him. But here's the question. Who is he that you are trusting in? What God are you trusting in? Because everybody says, I believe him. I believe. Really? But sometimes we say we believe, but the actions that our lifestyle produces doesn't reflect the belief in the God that we say we believe in. That's true. Because here's the question. You believe God, then why are you upset? You believe God, why are you fearful? You believe God, why are you fussing and cussing with everybody? You believe God won't bless you with a man, and why are you sleeping with everybody? You believe God, then why are you drinking a fifth of liquor? Why you got to drink all this wine? Why you got to smoke blunts, dippers? Why you got to do all that? Because even though you come into church, the battle is between what's in your heart and then what goes on in your head. Understand something. We all, before we have come to Christ and are fully convinced, had ways of dealing with situations and circumstances. Am I telling the truth? How did you deal with your circumstances? How did you deal with your problem? Because even though you go to church, there's still residue of the old you involved in your interpersonal situation.
Yes, that's true. Yes, it is.
And what we like to do is we like to play this, what I call the psychological game, where we will always bring the devil in as a way for us to act wrong.
Right.
And say it was the devil, when in reality it might have been just you wanting to do you. Yeah. And the devil was a good person to blame for doing wrong. Back in the 60s, there was this show called the Flip Wilson Show, and it comes on Century. And Flip Wilson used to always have this saying, and he used to be Geraldine. He used to say, "The devil made me do it." And it became popular. And what happens is it carried over into the church. And that's why we spend so much time fighting the devil. When I would like to suggest that sometimes, and I would say 2/3 of the times, it's not the devil. It's God allowing circumstances to hit your life, and it is you responding out of the circumstance.